Hello, everyone. I'm Corey West, and welcome to another episode of Conversations with Corey. I'm excited to share some information with you guys today on two essential components of direct democracy in Arizona. All right, so I'm gonna go deep. I'm gonna dive deep into it, and I got my special guest here, and I'm gonna let him introduce himself at this moment.
Christopher Brunson, really enjoying this thing that Corey's putting on, these conversations. It
Okay.
allows us to talk about, different things and things that may be pressing at the time. Been in the education field, maybe about 14 years now. Did a lot of different jobs. The thing about it is, the conversation we're gonna have tonight. I don't want to give the topic yet, but the conversation we're gonna have tonight affects a lot of different people.
Okay. So tonight, guys, we want to talk about initiatives and reforms. These two mechanisms allow civilians in Arizona to play an active role in shaping laws beyond just with elected officials. All right. So, Mr. Brunson, well, tell me a little something about initiatives and reform.
All right, so they go hand in hand. You gotta have one, can't have one without the other. Most initiatives, there are processes through which citizens can propose new laws and amendments to the constitutions, well, to the Constitution, not the
Mhm.
Constitution, because we only live by one. And
Yeah.
people vote on them directly. The referendums, they're mechanisms that enables voters to approve or reject the laws that these initiatives are being pushed by, and it also affects the legislature that has already been enacted.
Oh, okay. So, can you give me a good example, or give the people a good example?
One of the good examples I can think about, sometimes this can be a hot pressing topic, but the populace wishes, when they want to legalize recreational marijuana,
Okay.
they can pursue that through an initiative. And a lot of times, opposition will oppose to a new tax bill, or the voters can challenge it with a referendum.
Okay. So, I know just not myself, but the public want to know how they're created.
So, with your initiatives process, citizens draft up a legal proposal. They collect signatures, requiring a specific percentage from the previous general election. Usually, it's about
Mhm.
15% for a constitutional amendment and about 10% for the statutes. Then you have to submit the signatures for verification, and then if it's validated, the proposal appears on the ballot for a statewide vote. And then when you look at your referendums process, you got citizens opposing a new law that can initiate a petition to halt it, stop it. That's what a lot of people try to do. Then they have to gather signatures, and usually it's about 5% of the electorate of the state. And then if it's successful, the law is suspended and brought to a public vote, and then in the next general election.
Okay. Okay. Um, when you comparing the two, who initiates and the purpose, and how is it used?
All right. So, a lot of times the initiative comes from the citizens, but then you
Okay.
have citizens that will create a referendum. The purpose, of the initiative is to propose a new laws and amendments, and the
Okay.
referendum will be, people approve or reject the existing laws. And the most folks who are using this, they're trying to tackle the issues neglected by lawmakers,
Okay.
and the referendum could be something to contest the laws voters oppose.
So would it be safe to say you have some pros and cons?
Well, with anything, you always have pros and cons, and a lot of times you want to make sure your pros outweigh your cons, and you have different advantages to initiatives, and they could be things like it empowered the populace directly. They can circumvent their legislative gridlock, or even heighten the public awareness of significant issues that may be at hand. Even when I was talking about the legalizing marijuana. That's
Mhm.
one of those things that it has pros of helping some, and then you have some people that abuse it. Like certain initiatives also have disadvantages, and some of their disadvantages may be swayed by special interest funding. And then it could be a complex subject that can be very oversimplified, as well as sometimes you have voter fatigue from numerous measures. So when you're looking at your referendums, just like you have pros and cons to your initiatives, there are also plenty of pros and cons or advantages and disadvantages to your referendum. Some of your pros could be your referendum is it serves as a check on the legislative authority. It encourages citizens engagement in law evaluation. So sometimes you want to have some type of say so. And then some of the
Exactly.
disadvantages could be that you limited time for signature collection because they only not allow 90 days for referendum on an initiative, and then also, it can be postponed. It can postpone the central legislation, and it can often be reactive rather than proactive. You want to be ahead of this thing versus being behind. Because once you figure an initiative out, everybody wants to be the first.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Okay. How do um we support direct democracy?
So in Arizona's Constitution, in Article 4, Part 1, it grants the populace the power to legislate directly. So it gives them a choice, or some type of right,
Okay.
and then these processes that they have, it embodies the founder's vision. Remember, I'm still gonna always go back to this legalizing marijuana because that's the person, it helps, so they see the positive in it. So it it embodies the founder's vision. That, like I said, these are the government's people. So, the people who are serving or the people who finds it beneficial, it helps them or whatever. And long, like I said, if someone has a voice, it helps them to put this out. And then it enhances your civic participation. It ensures that legislature remains responsive to public sentiment.
Okay. So is in conclusion, it's safe to say that these two components are vital instruments that categorize Arizona directs democracy. They empowerment they empower ordinary people to influence legislation, challenge government actions, and give them a driveful meaning
Yeah,
change.
yeah,
Okay.
yes, very correct.
Um, while they have their limitations, they ensure that the voters maintain a genuine voice beyond just when it comes to going to the polls.
Yeah, that's really what a democracy is, being able to voice your opinion and, you know, help those on election day and have what you stand for, part of the legislation.
Okay. Hey, brother, man, it's been great, man. It's been fun. I want to thank you for
Always a
joining
good
me on
time.
this good conversation. I hope this presentation has provided everyone with a clear understanding of how things are done in Arizona. engaging not only in electing leaders, but also voting on laws. Okay. Hey, man, it's been fun, man. Thank you, Mr.
Appreciate it,
Brunson,
Corey.
man. Hey,
Appreciate it.
it's,
Appreciate it.
all, it's always a pleasure,
No,
always an honor. So, hey, guys, until next time, man, y'all stay safe.
all right.